After analyzing 56 Ali Abdaal videos, I have found 6 motion effects that make his edit look so clean and professional. In this video, I will show you the first 3 and next 3 are coming in part 2. So hit subscribe so that you don't miss them. Let's dive in. First up, we have the super cool paper tear effect. I already added the main layer to a timeline. To start the animation, we are going to take a duplicate of this. For that, place of Ctrl D or Command D, the first layer I am just going to rename it as top layer. And for the next one, we are just going to call it as bottom layer. Now let's create a solid. Right click over here, new and a solid. We are going to call it as a tear mat. Let's keep the color as white. OK and OK. Now we are going to create a mask. For creating the mask, ensure that this layer which you see on the top is selected. Now going to the pen tool, we are going to just create a mask like this. And clicking over here will close the mask. Perfect. Now let's add the roughen edges on top of the mask. Let's search for roughen edges. Over here, we are going to increase the border. We will keep it around 50. Okay, let's increase the sharpness and also the complexity. You can keep it something like 5 or 6. Let me have a look. Let's do one thing. Let's increase the sharpness all the way to 5 over here. And I'm keeping the border as around 35. Perfect. As you're aware, we want the roughen edges only on this side. We don't want it over here. For that, just select the layer, press S. This will open up the scale property and just increase it by a bit. Perfect. Now again, filling on the layer, press Ctrl D to duplicate the mat. For the first one, it can be tear mat top, and clicking on the second one, we can call it as tear mat bottom. Perfect. Now all we are going to do is just place it on top of the bottom layer. Now we have to play around with the track mat. Select the pick wick and link it to top layer. Perfect. And again, let's select the bottom layer and again link it to tear mat bottom. Awesome. But as you can see over here, we don't want this. We want the layer which is right now vanished. In order to gain that back, and click on this icon which will invert the mat. Perfect. We have got our entire picture back. Now let's add the pastel effect to a bottom layer. Select the bottom layer and search for the CC pastel. Perfect. From the controls, you can select top left corner. Let's take it back like this. But over here, we are facing one issue. If you see, when we are playing around with it, we have the entire picture in it. We don't want that. We only want the bottom half. In order to do that, we'll need to pre-compose. So let's press Ctrl Z, again Ctrl Z. Now let's select both the layers, right click over here and let's create a pre-compose. Again, I'm just going to call it as bottom layer in order to avoid any confusions. Make sure that you move all the attributes to a new composition and press OK. Now on top of this, we are going to add the pastel effect. Let's add it. I'm just going to keep the fold position as the top left corner. Let's add a keyframe in the fold position. And this is our controller. Just bring this back at the start. Now let's go to around 2 seconds. And then let's take this completely out. Let's see. Perfect. To get this cool effect, I already created these animations. We just got to repeat. Let's go back. See, perfect. So if I play now, this is looking super nice. But now we have to add some further effects. Firstly, going to the top, Let's add the paper layer. For that, let's take a duplicate of the solid layer by pressing Ctrl D and bring this down. Let's take it little ahead. We need to unhide the layer. Now opening the layer, click on mask. Again open the mask. Now opening the layer, again open the mask. Click over here. Just drag this down a bit. Let me zoom in. Say like this. This way, once we are going ahead, we get that paper layer. But right now, as you can see, it should not be revealed earlier. Only when this is getting cleared off, at that time, we need to reveal this white color. For that, all we need to do is keep the bottom layer on the top. This way now, once we take it ahead, we can see the paper layer. Awesome. Now the only thing pending is adding a drop shadow. For that, we are again going to select all these three layers, right click, recompose. Let's call it as top layer. Press OK. So selecting the layer, search for drop shadow. Perfect. Over here, let's increase the distance. We're going to keep it like this. Increase the softness. Let's decrease the opacity by a bit. Perfect. See, awesome. Maybe let's do one thing. Let's press U. Take it little. Let's take it to around 1 second. Selecting both of them, let's press F9. This will give it an easy effect. Let's see it. Perfect. The similar to drop shadow effect on a top layer. Now let's also add it for the bottom layer. Like when it is going from left to the right, over here as well, we will see the drop shadow. So selecting the bottom layer, let's search for drop shadow. Let's increase this. We need to play around with the angle. Let's increase the softness. Again, the opacity. It needs to be very subtle, so it's fine. So like, see. Over here, you can see that we have got the shadow. Let's see this. Perfect. Perfect. Let's see the final result. Perfect. The second effect we are going to learn how to create this glowing talking head. Let's create a new composition. I'm just going to call it as talking head. Keep it as 920 by 180 and press. The duration can be just 10 seconds. Press OK. Firstly, we are just going to add a random solid background. You can press Ctrl Y or Command Y. This will open up the solid settings. Just choose any color that you want. Press OK and OK. On top of this, you need to add your own talking head video. For now, I'm just hiding my own video and I will show you how you can turn this into the style of Ali Abdaal. We'll start by selecting the rounded rectangle tool from over here. Let's create the shape like Ali. Let's increase the roundness. We'll keep it around 50. The rest looks fine to me. Just ensure that the stroke is kept on 0. I'm just going to call it as the Facecam mask. Now move on to around 1 second. And click on our talking head. You'll need to add a keyframe in scale and position. So press S. By pressing on shift, press P. Add a keyframe in position and scale. Now go ahead to 2 seconds. This time, you need to reduce the scale. Maybe this much. And also position it exactly over here under our mask. Perfect. So it should look something like this. Now just select our face mask. Again, the way we did it in our first effect, take the pick quick in track mat and connect it to a talking head. Oops. And similar to how we did in our first effect, take the pick quick in our talking head video and connect it to our mask. As you can see over here, our talking head is now inside the mask in a way that we want it. Perfect. Now all we need to do is add keyframes in the rectangular path of the facecam mask. So coming over here, let's open up this. Again clicking over here, we need to add keyframes in size and position. Okay, so at this position, the size and again the position should be the same. This is because this is again our final result. But going back to this point, let's increase the size. See, like this. Oh no, in fact, make sure that you unlink the size. Now let's increase this and also increase the x-axis. And now you can play around with the position as well. Perfect. Let's increase this and bring it in the middle. I'm just going to make it bigger. Perfect. Ignore my open mouth. But see, this is giving us the exact desired result, right? How awesome is this? You can do it. See, with just 4 steps, we completely changed the way you can turn a normal clip into a talking head like this in a smooth motion animation. By selecting all the 4 keyframes, you can press Alt F9. This will give it an easy effect. You can immediately see the change for yourself. See, how awesome is this? See. Perfect, right? And let's go over here. Press U to close this. Let's again close. Let's close everything. Now, the only thing pending is the glowing borders over here on the sides. You can do this very easily. I'll show you how to do it. Select the facecam mask and press Ctrl D. This will make a duplicate of that. Now unhide it. In the stroke, let's give it a stroke of 5. Keep the fill as none. This gives us the border. Perfect. I'm just going to call it as border 1. I just want to keep it as 3 pixels. This is fine. The color is also suitable, so I'm not going to play around with the color. Now take a duplicate of this, and this will be our border 2, which will be our glowing border. So going to the border 1, let's add glow to it. The glow threshold can be around 50. The glow radius, let's reduce it to around 5. Perfect. Now coming to border 2, you have to ensure that it is the one which is revolving around this. For that, again, before you do anything, I'm just quickly going to add the glow effect. Again, do it. This time increase the intensity by a bit. We can keep it around 3. Press Command C or Control C and press Command D again. This will duplicate the glow effect. Let's decrease this. Perfect. Now all we need to do is go over here. Let's go to the drop down and we need to animate it. So click on the add and add trim paths. Open the trim path. So when it is coming like this, at that time itself, it can start. So over here, let's keep the start at around 75%. Let's add keyframes in both of them. Actually, I will not keep it at 2550. Let's see this. This is much longer, right? So instead of that, let's do one thing. Coming over here, let's keep this at around 60%. Yeah, this is better. And going to the end, maybe till here, let's make this 75% at the end as 100%. Let's see this. See it. Perfect. The only thing pending is adding that tapered look on the points. Let's open this. Let's open the stroke. Over here we have taper. Let's open this. At the start, let's keep it around 25. And again the end length, let's keep it around 20 or 25. See. Now if I play this, we have the tapered look and exact effect like Ali Abdaal. Let me just press Ctrl A and U to close all the layers. And with this, we have completed the second effect. I hope this was clear. If you are loving the video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Now let's get to the third effect where we are going to learn how to do this text animation, which you find many times in a title sequence of Ali Abdaal when he transitions between 2 chapters. Now our third effect, we are going to start by creating a simple solid. For here, I'm just going to select the solid. Just let's name it as background. Set any color that you want, doesn't matter. Now on top of this solid, we are going to add a 4-color gradient. Let's search for gradient. We're going to use this one. Now clicking on the colors, I'm just going to keep it 4 light pastel colors, the way Ali Abdaal does. Let's choose this. You can use anything that you want, doesn't really matter. Just keep it light pastel colors like this. Perfect. This looks nice. Now we are going to play around with the keyframes over here. Now firstly, let's add the keyframe in the points. 0.2, oops, and 0.4. Perfect. Now going ahead to around 4 seconds, let's just keep these points anywhere that you want. Maybe this can go over here. Oops. Pin can be on the top and this can be over here. Perfect. So now if I clicking on the layer, if I press U, let's select all and press F9. Doesn't really matter. Just doing it for my own satisfaction. Perfect. This is looking brilliant. For 0.2 over here, at the end, this became, I felt too green, so I'm just going to keep it somewhere over here. Again, selecting our rounded rectangle tool from the top, coming to the middle, and press shift and create a square like this. Ensure that the fill is kept as solid color and you select white, obviously. The stroke, we don't need a stroke, so just keep it as none. I'm just going to call it as rounded square. I don't know how else to name it. Maybe you can just let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is fine. Let's quickly add the icon on top of this. Let's quickly increase the roundness. Over here, I'm just going to keep the roundness at around 50. Perfect. I'm going to add the icon to the top. I'm just going to name it as icon. Now pressing on S, let's decrease the size. And I'm going to keep it to the bit. Now whatever changes that we do to the square, right, I want it to happen to the icon as well. That is why clicking on the parent and link, take this pigwig and parent it to the rounded square. This way now, if I press S, see, now whatever we do, whatever changes that we do to the rounded square, it will also happen to the icon. Perfect. Now let's give this a slide with animation. Perfect. Now let's start with the animation. Firstly, let's give it animation to our background. Over here, I want the background to come from the top to this position. Let's press P on our keyboard. At the start, let's add a keyframe. Maybe around half a second. This is the final position. Going back, let's take it up. Completely out of our screen. Perfect. Let's also enable motion blur. Perfect. So it will come in like this. Let's press F9 to give it an easy ease. Now going to the graph. If you're not seeing something like this, click over here and ensure that you selected area speed graph. Now click on this point, just keep it to the left. You can create a curve like this. That way, initially it will be fast and it will give a smooth curve like this. Again, click on our speed graph. Let's see this. Perfect. Now let's add a pop-in effect like Ali to the icon. Creating a pop-in effect is super simple. Let me show you. Maybe we want the pop-in to happen at around 1 second. We want to have the pop-in at around 1 second. So add a keyframe in scale. This is 100%. Go a few frames prior to that. At this position, make this 110. Basically, you increase the size. And prior to that, at this position, you need to make this 0. Let's see this. Perfect. See. Maybe we can do one thing. We can even make this around 115. Perfect. Selecting all the players, selecting all the keyframes, press F9. Perfect. Now, as you can see in these videos, he has given a slight wiggle effect to this animation. In order to do the same, let's open up the position. Now we are going to add her expression. Now select the option or Alt key, click over here, and we are going to add wiggle. Let's tab. I want it to wiggle one time, so I'm just going to add it to one. This is called as the frequency, and then we are going to adjust the amplitude. So like by how many pixels we want it to wiggle. You can keep it 5, 10, 15. I'm just going to go ahead with 10. So if you see, it is giving us the slight wiggle effect. If you feel this is too subtle, you can increase it by making it 2 by 20 or 2 by 15 or 1 by 20, whatever you feel is necessary. Perfect. So let's give it, this is looking too black. So let's give it a slight drop in it. Now let's add a grainy background to it. If I add drop shadow like the way we did earlier, see if I add a drop shadow from over here, I don't get the grain effect. So let me show you an alternative which gives you a much better control. Let's delete this. Now clicking over here in layer styles, you can add the drop shadow. Now if you click on this drop shadow, if you scroll down, this gives you the option of noise, which is a brilliant thing. So now let's increase the distance by a bit. I don't want the shadow on this side, so I'm just going to play around with the angle. Yeah, this side is fine. Let's increase this further. Again, the spread, the opacity can be reduced. Perfect. See, noise. And finally, let's increase the noise. Now if I zoom in, you can see the difference that it makes. Let me make it little like this. Even adding a small percentage of noise makes all the difference and gives your edits that premium quality. So okay, let's keep the spread at around. These are the settings. Again, for anything that you add in After Effects, right, you can just play around with it. You don't need to be very stubborn and just stick to whatever I am showing you. It's fine. Okay, let's press U, and U. Okay. That's it is awesome. Now, the only thing pending is adding the text effect. I'm just going to write anything. I'm just going to add a random thing. I'm just going to call it the Pareto principle. Okay. Let's just press. Let's just press somewhere else and align it over here. For now, I'm just selected this Helvetica. I'm just selected the font is Helvetica Nude. Again, select whatever you want. Doesn't matter really. Now, on top of this, I don't want it to be. Now, the color is important. I don't want to give it a normal color. I want to add a gradient to it. Select the layer and search for gradient ramp. You would have seen this effect. You would have seen this gradient text in the ads of Apple. Select over here. I'm going to choose this color. And again, for this, I'm going to choose a color like this. Maybe. Do you see this point and this point? Now all we need to do is take this point and keep it over here. And take this point and keep it over here. I think it's not very visible because I have selected two very similar colors. Maybe let me keep this color. See, immediately you can see how brilliant effect it. Immediately you can see the difference. It looks super nice and professional. Now finally, let's give it and finally let's add an animation to a text. We are going to add slide up by word. Slide up by word. This is a preset. Let's see this. Oh, where did that go? Let me select this and press on U. See, it has started over here. So let me just bring it back and keep it over here. Let me see this. Perfect. Again, selecting both of them, I'm just going to give it an easy treatment. And finally, As the last thing, I'm going to add a motion blur to all the layers. Just select on this icon over here. Perfect. By adding motion blur, you can see, but it gives us the desired look. Let me again close everything, else it hits my OCD. Let me press U. Okay, this looks clean. Now pressing the spacebar, let's see our animation. Perfect. I hope you loved all the 3 effects. In the next part, we're going to learn 3 more effects. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to learn like other pro YouTubers, you can check out this playlist. I'll see you next time.